Was trading Chase Young away to the 49ers actually a good thing for the Washington Commanders? According to multiple reports, lots of people in the building weren't too keen on one Chase Young. And then also, after trading Montez Sweat and Chase Young away, it really does seem like the Commanders are punting on this season. So why don't they just fire Ron Rivera? I'm going to let you know what I think is their plan moving forward here later in today's show. And then also, I'm going to preview the upcoming rebuild here that's coming up after this complete dumping that the Washington Commanders made on Tuesday. Cap space, draft picks available. We're going to be breaking that down and what that means for the future of this franchise. But before we get into today's news and rumors action, get in the comments section and answer this question to get us going. Is this season over for the Washington Commanders, or do you think that they're still alive here? Type yes if you think it's over, or type N if you think there's still a chance. So now let's talk about Chase Young here, where according to the Athletics Washington Commanders reporter Ben Standig, there's a lot of people in the Commanders building that weren't too appreciative of Chase Young, specifically in the way that he worked to get back from that ACL injury that kept him out for most of last season. This is what Standig has to say in his most recent article. The team sees trading Chase Young as a potential addition by subtraction, the source said. Even amid Young's strong season, there are lingering concerns about his durability and on-field discipline, which is partly why Sweat was the more sought-after pass rusher in trade discussions this week, a league source said. Young was viewed as an undisciplined player who developed bad habits such as deviating from assignments in an effort to make splash plays. His off-the-field priorities and commitment to his craft were often questioned, and he was viewed internally as a player who plateaued as a rookie. Now, if everything that Ben Standig says here is true, I really do think that it was still a bad decision to trade both Montez Sweat and Chase Young away, where I would have just kept Montez Sweat. If Chase Young was the guy that you wanted to trade, just trade him, for even if it was just for a third-round pick. I think most Commanders fans would be like, all right, that's fine. You're probably not going to pay both Sweat and Young, but trading away both of them just seems like you're punting on the season and you're giving up on a potential playoff run here in the second half of the season. I know we're starting at 3-5 here, but you just went toe-to-toe twice with the Philadelphia Eagles, and Chase Young was playing well. He's top 5 in pressures to this point in the season. So, you look at this right now, and I think the only plausible explanation for the Washington Commanders to trade both Montez Sweat and Chase Young away at the deadline to this point is that they didn't view either one of them as a true number one edge rusher in this league. I can kind of see where they're coming with that. Montez Sweat, for as athletic as he is, for as hard of a worker as he is, for as productive as he's been as a pass rusher so far this year, I'm not sure if I'd put him in that category of truly elite when it comes to the pass rushing end of it. I would put him in as an elite run defender, but I wouldn't say that about his pass rushing acumen. You can see that in his pressure numbers this year, really just cleaning up after Chase Young's pressures this year, which was really how he got most of that sack production. So I can see why the Commanders are going with this, where they're like, you know what, we already have Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne locked up long-term. We don't really see Montez Sweat and Chase Young being as valuable as a number one edge rusher contract moving forward. We would rather have the draft picks. We would rather have the cap space moving into the 2024 offseason. Now, because they're pretty much punting on the season, at least in my opinion at this point, I know they're denying that to the public, but let's face it, guys. They just traded away two of some of their most productive players at the trade deadline. They're pretty much punting. So, I mean, it really seems like Ron Rivera is not their guy. Why haven't they made a move to fire him? I'm going to discuss that here in just a second. But first, let's have a word from our sponsor here at PrizePicks. And let me tell you guys, I've been absolutely addicted to using this app on Thursday night football games, Sunday night football games, Monday night football games this year. It's more than just football, guys. It's basketball, it's hockey, all these different things going on right now. If you want to spice up your NFL game days this year, get started with PrizePicks. It's a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. And if you're looking for a more fun way to spend your game days, look no further than PrizePicks. And you might be asking yourselves, how does daily fantasy work? Well, here's how. You pick 2 to 6 players, and if they'll go for more or less than their PrizePicks projection. So let's take a look at my picks here for this Thursday night matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go with the more with rushing yards with Jaylen Warren, who's really had a good season this year. Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver for Pittsburgh, 59.5 receiving yards. I think he gets more than that. And then Chris Boswell, I think, will have at least 2 field goals today. Give me the more on Chris Boswell. You can get your picks in before kickoff tonight, so just check it out now at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. At Prize Picks, you aren't competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, that are just looking to take advantage of you. With Prize Picks, it takes less than 60 seconds to make your picks. So get started right away. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use our code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS at prizepicks.com/CLNS for a deposit match up to $100 today. So now after you trade Montez Sweat and Chase Young, you don't make a move to fire Ron Rivera. And my big question is, what the hell are you waiting for, man? You obviously don't believe in this guy. You obviously feel like this season is lost. So my question is, why are you keeping and stringing Ron Rivera along in this process here when you could be getting a good look at Eric Bieniemy right now to potentially be your next head coach? This is somebody that has been looking for this opportunity literally his entire career as a coach in the National Football League. It's right there for the taking for EB. I think he's done a really good job working with the different circumstances that he's been dealt with here. I mean, this guy was given a 5th-round, second-year quarterback this year in Sam Howell, and he's looking like a legitimate franchise quarterback this year. This guy was given an inadequate offensive line in terms of talent this year, and this offense has looked like it's been humming at points during this season. I think Eric Bieniemy's offense and the scheme that he's brought to the table here is one of the bright spots for this Commanders team to this point in the 2023 season. And after this trade deadline where you're just dumping some of your most key players and it seems like you're essentially punting on the season, why not give EB a shot here? That's exactly what I would do. And you know what? If the Commanders end up losing to a struggling New England Patriots team on Sunday, it wouldn't shock me at all if Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and Martin Mayhew and all these guys in the making the moves upstairs just have had enough, right? And they just say, "You're done, Ron. We're going to give EB a shot here to be the next head coach, and we're going to give him half this season to prove his worth." And potentially, I think that he could, in theory, win that job long term. I think he's a really good offensive mind. It seems like the players really respect him, even though he was really hard on them this preseason. He got a lot of flack for that. Really seems like it's starting to work out at least a little bit here. Sam Howell clearly is comfortable in his offense. So I definitely think it's worth the Commanders' salt here to give Eric Bieniemy a shot. But let me know what you guys think about Ron Rivera down there in the comments section. Will the Washington Commanders fire Ron Rivera next week if they lose to the New England Patriots? Type F if you think he'd get fired, or type K if you think they'd keep him. So now let's preview the upcoming rebuild here, because let's face it, guys, we all know it's coming. You don't trade away your 2 starting edge rushers if you're not expecting a full-scale rebuild in the NFL offseason. So I think that right now the Commanders are actually in a really good spot, especially entering free agency. You're going to have $91.5 million and change to work with. I mean, damn, man, that is a lot of money to work with. You can go after the positions that you want. You can go after some of the biggest names on the market, and you can really start to build this roster with the veterans that you see as the key pieces moving forward here with this Washington Commanders franchise. And then you add that with a bunch of draft picks here. You add that 2nd-round draft pick from the Chicago Bears in exchange for Montez Sweat on Tuesday, and then you get that compensatory pick from the 49ers there, an additional 3rd round. So look at this right now. You got 9 total picks, and you got 5 in the first 2 days. That is a really solid foundation if you are GM Martin Mayhew or whoever's going to be the GM at that point to really build the future of this Washington Commanders team. And then, your quarterback right now, if Sam Howell ends up earning this, his status as the true franchise quarterback moving forward here with the Commanders, and I really do think this kid is on his way to doing just that. Look at the cap hits right now. This guy's a 5th-round pick. Look at that contract right there. The cap hits over the next 2 seasons, just over $1 million. That really gives you the flexibility to go out and fill out the rest of this roster with high-end talents in NFL free agency and via the draft. I think that there's a real opportunity for the Washington Commanders to really build a winner here, the team that this fan base has been waiting for, the team that this fan base frankly deserves. And as bad as it is right now, guys, for as angry as I was on Tuesday for trading away Chase Young for pretty much the same exact value as you would have gotten if you would have lost him in free agency, as angry as I was on Tuesday, and as bad as it seems right now, and the hopelessness that we feel as a fan base right now, it seems like there are brighter days on the horizon. Now, this front office is going to have to hit on those draft picks. They're going to have to be smart with how they spend that cap space next offseason. But it seems like Josh Harris has a vision for this franchise. And even though I may have disagreed with the way that they're going about it here by trading away Montez Sweat and Chase Young on the same day and punting on the season, you can't deny that the future definitely looks brighter here in the nation's capital. All right, now go ahead, get in the comments section here for the last time here and answer this question. Do you believe in this Washington Commanders franchise moving forward, or do you think they're going to fumble this opportunity like they have in years past? Type B if you think this front office is going to get it right this time, or type D if you're doubtful and you don't think that this franchise is going to get on the right track. All right, that'll be it for me today, Commanders fans. Thank you so much for all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button. We are going to be going live for our live watch party this weekend versus the New England Patriots. So if you want to join us for that, you want a place to kick it with your fellow Commanders fans this year during game days, this is going to be the place for you. Click that subscribe button right now.